In the next 5 seconds, you are about to see something no one ever expected. In the next 5 seconds after that, I will reveal a truth that may change how you see the universe forever. On August 15, 1977, the universe did something strange. It did not explode. It did not collapse. It did not send a storm of energy across the stars. It whispered. And then it went silent. At a quiet radio observatory in Ohio, a powerful radio signal appeared suddenly from deep space. It was narrow. It was intense. And it lasted for exactly 72 seconds. Then it vanished, never to be detected again. This event would later be called the WOW signal, not because scientists understood it, but because they did not. For decades, humanity has searched the cosmos for signs of intelligence beyond Earth. Most of what we find is noise, static, random emissions from stars, galaxies, and gas clouds. But the WOW signal was different. It did not behave like noise. It did not spread. It did not fluctuate. It stood out like a clean voice in a storm. And that is what makes it terrifying. Because the universe does not produce clean signals by accident. To understand why the WOW signal still unsettles scientists nearly half a century later, we must first understand what it was not. It was not a repeating pulse. It was not a rotating beacon like a pulsar. It was not the diffuse radiation of a natural cosmic event. It was precise. Too precise. The signal appeared at a frequency strongly associated with hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. This frequency has long been considered a logical choice for interstellar communication. Not because humans chose it, but because physics did. Any advanced civilization that understands the universe would understand hydrogen. And if they wanted to be noticed, they would choose this frequency. That alone would be unsettling. But the details go deeper. The WOW signal showed no signs of modulation. No obvious message. No repeated pattern. Just power. Focused power. As if someone turned on a transmitter, aimed it carefully, and then turned it off. Once. This raises the first unavoidable question. Who sends a signal only once? Natural phenomena repeat. Stars rotate. Planets orbit. Energy disperses. Nature does not speak once and falls silent forever. Intelligence does. Imagine standing in a dark forest at night. You hear a single word spoken clearly behind you. Then nothing. No footsteps. No movement. No explanation. The silence would be far more disturbing than the sound itself. That is what the WOW signal represents. Not contact, but interruption. The signal arrived from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, a region dense with stars. A region that has been scanned repeatedly since. Nothing like it has ever appeared again. No echo. No reply. No confirmation. Just silence. Which leads us to the most dangerous assumption of all. What if the signal was never meant to start a conversation? What if it was something else entirely? Before we explore that possibility, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. The universe is old, vast beyond comprehension, filled with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars. If intelligent life is common, then communication should be common. But it is not. This contradiction is known as the Great Silence. We listen. The universe does not answer. The WOW signal stands alone in that silence. Not as proof, but as an exception. And exceptions matter, because they suggest the rules may not be what we think. Some scientists argue the signal was natural. A rare alignment. A passing comet. A strange emission never observed again. But each explanation fails in one critical way. Natural sources do not produce signals this narrow and this powerful without repeating. They do not aim. They do not choose frequencies associated with intelligence. And they do not turn off cleanly. Now consider another possibility. What if the signal was artificial, but not intended for us? Imagine two distant civilizations communicating across interstellar space. Their technology far beyond ours. Their signals powerful, focused, and rare. Earth just happened to drift into the path of one transmission. We were not the recipient. We were the eavesdropper. This would explain everything. Why the signal was strong. Why it was narrow. Why it never repeated. It was never meant to. From this perspective, the WOW signal is not a greeting. It is a fragment of a conversation we were never meant to hear. And that idea is far more unsettling than direct contact, because it means communication may already be happening across the universe. Just not with us. But there is an even darker possibility. What if the signal was not communication at all? What if it was a test? A probe? A scan? Advanced civilizations may not announce themselves loudly. They may not broadcast messages. They may observe quietly. A focused signal could test whether a region of space contains technology capable of detection. The wow signal may not have been saying anything. It may have been listening. And if that is true, the most important question is not who sent it, but what they learned. Now pause for a moment. If this mystery has already pulled you in, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Do you believe the wow signal was a message, a coincidence, or something far more unsettling? Because what comes next forces us to confront possibilities humanity has never been comfortable facing. Let us assume, for a moment, that the signal was artificial. Not proof. Just assumption. Then we must ask, why only once? One explanation is timing. Cosmic alignments are rare. Distances are enormous. A signal may pass through Earth's detection range for only seconds before cosmic motion carries it away forever. We heard it once because that was the only moment we could. Another explanation is caution. Advanced civilizations may avoid repeated transmissions to prevent detection. In a universe where intelligence may not always be friendly, silence could be survival. The wow signal could represent a civilization that spoke briefly, and then chose to remain silent. This aligns with one of the most disturbing ideas in modern astronomy: the dark forest hypothesis. In a dark forest, every civilization is a hunter. Revealing your position could invite destruction. So the safest strategy is silence. If this is true, then the wow signal may represent a rare mistake. A moment of exposure, quickly corrected, which would explain why it never happened again. But there is another possibility. One that shifts the question entirely. What if the signal was not recent? What if it was sent thousands or millions of years ago? Radio waves travel at the speed of light. What we hear now is not happening now. It is history arriving late. The civilization that sent the wow signal may no longer exist. The signal may be a fossil, a final echo of a species that rose, spoke once, and vanished. If that is true, the silence that followed is not indifference. It is extinction. And suddenly, the signal becomes not hopeful, but tragic. One voice, one moment, gone forever, and humanity just happened to hear it. As we reach the end of part 1, one thing becomes clear. The wow signal is not just about aliens. It is about loneliness, about timing, about how fragile intelligence may be in a vast, indifferent universe. We did not receive a message. We received a question, and we still do not know how to answer it. If the wow signal was artificial, then the most disturbing question is not who sent it. It is why it was never repeated. In science, repetition is everything. Nature repeats. Processes recur. Patterns return. But the wow signal did not. 72 seconds of clarity. Then silence that has lasted decades. To understand what that silence might mean, we must explore the possibilities that remain once coincidence begins to collapse. One possibility is that the signal was intentional, but not conversational. Communication, as humans understand it, assumes exchange. A call, a reply, a back and forth. But advanced intelligence may not communicate this way. It may broadcast information once, without expectation of response. It may mark a moment. It may announce existence, then withdraw. If that is the case, the wow signal could be a beacon. Not saying, talk to us, but we were here. In that interpretation, the signal becomes a cosmic signature. A brief declaration carved into the noise of the universe. A message not meant to be answered, only detected. Now consider a darker interpretation. What if the wow signal was a warning? Warnings are not repeated endlessly. They are delivered once. Clear, focused, urgent. And then the sender moves on, or disappears. If the signal was a warning, then the silence that followed is not mysterious. It is intentional. The message may not have been meant for us specifically, It may have been aimed at a region of space. Earth just happened to be listening. Warnings do not always explain themselves. They simply arrive. And if you miss them, that is not the sender's concern. But what would require a warning on a cosmic scale? To answer that, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. The universe is not gentle. Stars explode. Galaxies collide. Civilizations, if they exist, are likely fragile. If intelligence emerges, it faces existential threats. Some from nature, some from other intelligence. A warning could mean many things. A nearby cosmic event, a dangerous region of space, or something far worse, another intelligence. This brings us back to the dark forest. If the universe is a place where revealing your position invites destruction, then communication becomes dangerous. In such a universe, silence is survival. The wow signal may represent a moment when silence broke. Briefly, accidentally, corrected immediately. If that is true, then the reason the signal never returned is simple. Whoever sent it learned something they did not like. They may have realized they were detectable. And detection, in a dark forest, is fatal. From this perspective, the silence after the wow signal is not empty. It is defensive. It is intentional. It is fear. Now consider a different angle. What if the signal was not sent by a civilization at all? What if it was sent by a machine? Advanced intelligence may outlive its creators. Autonomous systems may continue operating long after biological life is gone. A machine could send a signal once, as part of a scheduled process, a final task, or a failing system. No emotion, no follow-up, no concern for reception. The wow signal could be the last action of a long-dead intelligence. A machine speaking into a universe that has already forgotten its makers. This would explain the precision, the lack of repetition, the absence of response. It would also explain why the signal felt so indifferent. But perhaps the most unsettling interpretation is this. What if the signal was not meant to communicate information, but to detect technology? A focused radio burst could test whether a region of space contains advanced receivers. Not to speak, but to listen. In this scenario, the wow signal is not a message. It is a scan. The fact that humanity detected it may be the entire point. And if so, then the silence afterward may indicate that the scan is complete. The universe did not reply. It moved on. At this point, pause again. If this mystery has kept you thinking, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Do you believe the wow signal was a message, a warning, or something else entirely? Your interpretation matters, because there is no official answer. Now let us confront the most haunting possibility of all. What if the wow signal was a reply, not to us, but to something else? Humanity has been broadcasting radio signals into space for over a century. Our earliest transmissions are already traveling outward, expanding in a growing sphere. They announce our existence loudly, unintentionally. It is possible, however unlikely, that the wow signal was a response to an earlier signal sent by another civilization. A delayed acknowledgement, a confirmation, or even a refusal. In this scenario, Earth again is not the participant. We are the bystander. We heard one half of a conversation that began long before we were capable of understanding it. And we may never hear the rest. This reframes the silence. The silence is not absence. It is incompleteness. Now consider the passage of time. Radio signals travel fast, but not instantly. If the wow signal originated thousands of light years away, the civilization that sent it may already be gone. Stars evolve. Planets change. Civilizations rise and fall. What we heard may have been a final breath. A last transmission sent before extinction. If so, the wow signal is not proof of life elsewhere. It is proof of death. And the silence that followed is not indifference. It is emptiness. This interpretation is deeply unsettling, because it suggests intelligence may be rare and brief. That civilizations may speak once, if at all, then disappear. If that is true, the universe is not silent because it is empty. It is silent because it is a graveyard. And the wow signal is a headstone. But there is still one final interpretation. One that changes everything. What if the signal was neither natural nor extraterrestrial? What if it was us? Not intentionally, but indirectly. Human technology is imperfect. Signals reflect. Interference occurs. Could the WOW signal have been a reflection of Earth-based transmission?
WOW signal.
A ghost signal? An echo?
Was not just
This explanation has been proposed, examined, and largely dismissed. The characteristics do not match known sources. The direction was wrong. The frequency was unusual. The timing was inconsistent. Still, the idea lingers. Because it raises a disturbing philosophical question. What if the universe is not answering us at all? What if we are hearing ourselves? Projecting meaning onto noise. Desperate for confirmation that we are not alone. If that is the case, the WOW signal is not about aliens. It is about us. About our fear of isolation. Our need for connection. Our willingness to believe. And yet, even if the signal was not artificial, even if it was coincidence, it still matters. Because it exposed a fundamental truth. We are listening. And the universe is capable of surprising us. As this story reaches its end, we are left with a choice. We can treat the WOW signal as an unsolved puzzle, a curiosity, a footnote in astronomy, or we can treat it as a reminder that the universe is vast, that intelligence may be rare, that communication is fragile, and that silence does not always mean nothing is there. Sometimes silence means we arrived too late. Sometimes it means we arrived too early. And sometimes it means we were never meant to be part of the conversation at all. The WOW signal may never be explained. No definitive source. No confirmation. No repetition. Just a moment. A whisper. A reminder that the universe is capable of speaking. Once. And choosing never to speak again.